The last scoring topic concerns changes to forms. Once a survey is live and shops have been finalized, any changes to scored questions must be handled very carefully in order to avoid invalidating your data. So let's talk about some common scenarios. Scenario 1. Your client wants to stop using 2 questions on the form and instead wants to add 3 new questions. Because the 2 existing questions are already associated with data from finalized shops, simply deleting them would permanently delete all data associated with them. Likewise, simply adding the 3 new questions would create 0 scores for those questions on forms that have already been finalized, since shoppers didn't have a chance to answer the questions you've just added. So instead of deleting the existing questions and adding the 3 new questions, you would use something called form versioning. Form versioning allows you to add, modify, or remove questions from your form and dictate when these changes will be effective. To use form versioning, first you will need to enable it on your survey by clicking the Allow Form Versioning by Date for this survey checkbox on the survey settings page, and then click Save at the bottom of the page. Then return to your question list, locate the question that you no longer want to appear on your form, and click Edit to open the Question Edit window. From here, indicate when you want your question to be versioned out by entering a date in the Question Use Ends On box in the Question Edit window. So let's say that our client no longer wanted this question to appear on shops after 9/1/2011. You'd enter that date here and click Save at the bottom of the page. And back on our question list, once we refresh the page, we can see that our question is now only in use before 9/1/2011. This means that this question and all data associated with this question will be preserved on all shops submitted before September 1st, 2011, and the question will no longer appear on shops beginning September 1st, 2011. Once you have versioned out your 2 existing questions, you can now version in your 3 new questions. To do this, create the question you want to add, and here let's say our client wants us to add a yes/no question. So we'll create the text for that question, which is, would you dine here again? And you then version it in by indicating when you would like this new question to begin appearing on shops. In this case, our client wanted the new question to appear on all shops beginning September 1st, 2011. So I would type in 9/1/2011 next to the Question Use Starts On field in the Question Edit window. And then I would click Add Question. And here I see my new question has been added. And back on the question list, I'm going to refresh the page. And here I see the question has been added and will appear on shops beginning September 1st, 2011. Scenario 2. Changes to answer options. Now let's say your client wants to change or add answer options to a question. You can add additional answers to a scored question by adding them at the end of the answer options. As long as the existing answers and their scores are not changed, the data from finalized shops is still valid. Any new answers must be added at the end and will appear in that order on the form. If adding new answer options at the end isn't desirable or doesn't make sense, then you must use form versioning to version out the old question and to version in a new question This will enable you to order the answer options any way you choose, since this is a new question that you are adding and no prior data is associated with it. Scenario 3. Changing the score of existing answer options. If you change the score of existing answer options, you can simply lock shops that have already been finalized and then change the score of the existing question. This will preserve the original scores for all shops that have been locked, and the new scores assigned to this question will only be applied to new shops. Scenario 4. Your client wants form changes to be applied to all shops, both old and new. Let's say your client wants to change the score of existing answer options and wants these changes to apply to all shops, both old and new. In this scenario, a recalculation must be performed. Recalculating is an option that cannot be undone. Before submitting your survey for recalc, make sure that you have locked any shops that should not be changed by the recalc, and that all your form changes are complete. This concludes the Classy tutorial on form changes and recalcs.